Well, welcome. This is our anniversary family hour of the Yahowah blog. It is a great pleasure to be with you. We have a absolute full cast of characters, may even have a plus one here today. It was a year ago at this time that we launched our first Yahowah blog, and had no idea that it would still be going strong all this many episodes later. So we're delighted to have you. We've got Kevin, who you were part of the first Yahowah blog, along with that handsome fellow beneath you. That's Captain Kirk. So we have a man that is living right now in the middle of the winter zone. How are you doing up there?
Doing well, staying warm inside, so I can't complain, you know?
Yeah, boy, I read today even South Florida is freezing iguanas. So it's
yes,
a
falling iguanas.
blast.
Yes.
So Kirk, you look pretty good for a guy that was almost checked out here just a few days ago.
It's the meds.
It's the meds. Okay. Yeah. I hope that they upped your ante from gabapentin to something a little stronger.
Everything else I get a hold to. Yeah.
And you have what, 2 weeks to go of this portion?
I think it's long. I think I've got about 18 more things to go. So.
18 more, so that's 3 weeks.
I think so.
A little over 3. Okay. And we have my good and longtime friend, Dr. Jeff. Looks like you're at home.
I'm at home, keeping away from the ICE agents.
Yeah, they invaded Phoenix area, didn't they?
Sure did. They certainly did. The restaurants.
You know, you don't have to, as a Jew, you don't have to worry too much about the brown shirts. They were hunting Hitler's political foes, just like these fellows are hunting the political foes of Trump. But if they upgrade from brown shirts, we had the night of the short knives, where just the head of the ICE was dispatched. But if they have the night of the long knives, then of course we're in serious trouble, and Jews have to duck because they were replaced by the SS, which isn't exactly terrific. All right, so and JB, good to see you. Hope all is going well. We heard your beast there let out a mighty howl as I guess Patty came home from work today. We have Will O'Brien. This is a new opportunity for Will to be part of the family hour. We'll be with you in a moment, Will, but always great to see you. You and your son are tremendous covenant members. We have Leah over in the white chair with little Cara. She is the subject of tonight's program as we return to the last word picture. And Rich over here on the controls is also with it. There you are. We have Rich and, of course, Wookie. We're going to begin this program with a song. It is a song that I had not heard in a year. And I was saying, boy, I bet that song would be applicable to this program. And I went to Facebook, and every week Facebook will say, well, this time last year, this is something you posted. And there it was.
Yeah.
So It Must Be is the title of this song.
Yes.
And it presents Leah in the role that, well, not fully the role, but certainly a good portion of the role that's presented here in the last word picture. So we'll go ahead and play that song, and then we'll commence with our program.
A longing for freedom and to live peacefully with her king. Chasing sunsets, romance, and the joy that it brings. I remember late nights, your hand in mine. Thoughts whispered softly, like stars that align. Must be the reason why I'm queen of his castle. Must be the reason, no more feeling frazzled in every moment. I see the signpost, every step forward, love redefines. Must be the reason for seasons we change. Must be the reason our hearts rearranged. I was lost in shadows, so trapped in my soul. Now I'm rising up, reclaiming control. Must be the reason why in your arms, making my way home to where love disarms. Flashes of laughter, summer nights on the yacht. You brought me the light when I was lost in the dark. Memory lane, we danced through the years. Every tear that fell shaped my hopes and my fears. Must be the reason why he freed my trapped soul. Must be the reason I finally feel whole in everything. There's a lesson to learn. Seasons keep shifting, but my heart will return. Must be the reason for seasons we change. Must be the reason our hearts rearrange. I was lost in the shadows, so trapped in my soul. Now I'm rising up, reclaiming control. Must be the reason why in your arms, making my way home to where love disarms. Whispers of the past echo in the night. Every challenge faced led us to this light. Your voice is my anchor, Yahowah is my flame. I've grown through the struggle, but I'm still the same. Must be the reason why I'm queen of his castle. Must be the reason why I'm making examples of you. His voice calls out into the night. Challenge every fight and cry out unto him. Make Yada your anchor, make Yahowah your flame, and in due season make that change.
It's lovely. I wanted to show this particular cover. This is Moed, the appointments. This beautiful bride there on that picture will be a bride that today. This is Moed is about the last two of the Moed Mikre, Kippurim and Sukkah, and there will be a grand wedding on Kippurim, I think, too. And we'll have to explore that to learn more about it. But I think Dowd gets a beautiful bride chosen out of the mortal remnant of Yisrael that's returning, curated, of course, by Leah, his surrogate mother, and adorned appropriately. But I think Leah and I also are going to be able to celebrate our vows on that day, too, for all that has occurred and will occur. It's a great celebration and a family reunion, to be sure. Where we left off our last program was with I think it's the 12th statement of the final word picture. And my comment to introduce it was that in business, you learn that there's no limit to what a person can achieve if you're willing to share the credit. And in this statement, I think Leah goes just a little further, suggesting that the one who serves to make progress and productivity possible. And so the person who worked through another is often the most productive. And we're in a society where everybody wants credit. You know, we have influencers and they want credit for their opinions and, you know, what they ate for lunch. But when you think about achieving through someone, and particularly in the role of a wife to someone like Dowd, who's king, or someone like myself that is depicted all over the Torah and prophets with responsibility, helping them achieve what needs to be done is a very significant contribution. But it's more than that. I know someone who made an announcement 3,450 years ago that he thought it was far better and would be much more successful for his people if he chose to work through others. And he has done exactly that since that time. And so what is being depicted here is the very way that Yahweh chose that he would work with us, isn't it? You know, when the
Seems to
children of
be.
Yisrael said, you know, we don't want to hear your voice and we don't want to see your brilliant light anymore. Could you please go away and shush up? And God said, I think that's a great idea. I think that'll work out a lot more successfully. And from that moment on, he worked through individuals of his choosing. So the statement is, she acts in a way that yields to and serves him. This is Leah speaking to Dowd about the ideal wife
Mhm.
and the support that she can offer. It goes right back to the Yahweh's creation of Towrah, doesn't it? Towrah was created for this very purpose, that she could work on his behalf, make a contribution to man. So she acts in a way that yields to and serves him. It sounds like you read the Torah when coming up with that statement, so as to treat him properly, beautifully, and productively. That word is tob.
Mhm.
If you see tob matched with ra, it would appear that maybe you read the offering of the tree of the knowledge of good and bad.
Good and evil.
Because those would
Mhm.
be the same two words that are attached to it. But it says,
It would.
yeah, so it says that she will treat him properly, beautifully, and productively, tob, which is beneficially in a good and generous, pleasing manner, and is, raw. There you go. She is never raw, harmful, troubling, disagreeable, hindersome, bad, immoral, or miserable. All of the days of her life. When you go off to the Kol Yomem Che, you're doing two things at that point. If you're paying attention, there were two trees in the garden, weren't there? There was one that had was associated with Tob and Ra, and the other one was associated with Che, wasn't it?
That's right.
So we have a reference here to
both.
The story that's in Genesis 2, Barashith 2. So again, this is a woman that knows her Torah, because she's teaching Dowd, who wrote, two marvelous essays on the Torah, the 19th and the 119th Psalm. She's basing her guidance to Dowd to get him out of his funk on Torah, which I think is quite brilliant. So if you want to know the strategy that the person that Yahweh is announcing is the greatest of all women, she earned that distinction by reading, studying, thinking about, and then sharing Torah. This is straight out of the Torah, which she has said here. And it's also affirming that this is all the days of her life. This is life without end.
Plural.
So when our trust is properly placed, the results are never harmful. They're never hindersome. Everything is a positive contribution. And this is the kind of relationship that is beautiful. It's pleasing. It's eternal. This is God's view of living and loving happily ever after. This is what we ought to expect when we return to the conditions of Eden. Now, since she remains singular throughout, there is every reason to conclude that my wife is modeling a variation here of monogamy. Now, that is really quite different from what the Torah says, and it's quite different than what I had envisioned initially. And my wife said, "Oh yeah, boys will be boys." I read the Torah. All those boys in the Torah, they had lots of girlfriends and wives. I got, I know you came.
And none of them handled it well.
Yeah, you came out of a loveless marriage, and so you need a little time, no problem at all. And about I don't know if it was the first date or the second date. Yeah, you could see this is not what you really wanted. And so it was one of those things where I said, I think I like this one a lot. And and so to be in a situation where she's unhappy, it's not going to work out well for me. And so we went directly from many to monogamous in our relationship, and it worked out beautifully. I'm not sure it's the normal way for men and women to be. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. But it
No,
has
we
worked
didn't
out
go
for us.
from many to monogamy. You did.
Well, you know, you were kind of in a quiet time. Yeah, but my Miss Leah cannot ever suggest that she has been deprived of
No.
Of loving relationships.
No.
No. Okay. Now that we've set the record straight, and I'm embarrassed, and you're embarrassed. So this is, I think, being presented as a monogamous relationship is what she is proposing to Dowd going forward. We know that he had 8 wives minimum, because there's 8 that are known. He came into out of Hebron and into Jerusalem with 7. He picked up
A few along the way,
yeah,
unnumbered.
we picked up a significant number along the way.
Unnumbered. Who knows?
Yes, who knows? But it did not serve him well. No, he was
Or Shlomo.
No, well, it served Shlomo. Well, I'm not sure it served him worse. I think it was equally bad for both of them.
Even Abraham.
Yeah,
It didn't serve him well either.
No, going from from one to several. No, it did not work out for him either. So it's something God says you're free to do what you want to do. But boy, the evidence is that it's really not the best of ideas. I'm not sure it worked out very well for Yaakov either, to come to think of it. So, it's an interesting discussion to have.
Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of saying that, I think monogamy might work out fairly well. It's an undercurrent here. It's certainly not stated boldly, but I can see there's probably a lot of women out there saying, yeah, you go, Leah.
Women are complex creatures.
They are. So, almost every man, as I have shared, that is associated with Yahweh had multiple wives, and some many, including other sexual interests. I think that one great and fulfilling relationship is going to be a lot more popular during the millennial celebration of Sukkah and Eden. And I think that is sort of what this is leading to. And what you have said up to this point is that a woman that you can confide in and trust is
She's worth more than rubies and gold and diamonds.
That is correct. No matter how many jewels you want in your crown, a woman you can confide in and trust is worth more than all of those in the entire planet. So this may be nothing more than Leah's recommendation, but I don't think so. It's clearly she's drawing from the Torah. That is what you're drawing from here. That last statement was rich in Torah symbolism. So I think that it will carry some significant weight. So for those of you who are fans of monogamy, as I have become, score one for Leah. Now, as we move on, I'd like to note that in serving God and King, we will continue to draw from our experiences. I think that one of the advantages of having a nephesh soul and an asama conscience is that we get to go into the millennial Shabbat and eternity with a memory of the things that worked and some degree of confidence from our recovery when we stumbled. I just think that there's no chance that our entire memory is going to be wiped clean and we're going to be all daisies and lollipops going forward.
No, you remember.
We got there by overcoming challenges and learning from our mistakes and from the time we spent in Torah and the prophets. That would be tragic to wipe that out. So I'm pretty sure we can.
Yeah, an Neshama is the sum of your experiences, for sure.
I think so too. Yeah. Some of your experiences and the carrier of your, I think this nephesh is probably the carrier of your aptitudes and attitudes and the like. But between the two, I think we go forward with a lot of what we have known. And this is suggestive of that because of what is being said here, because we get to leverage them. The most useful of them will be stored in our nephesh souls and our nesama conscience. And Leah, as I have mentioned, has always been inquisitive.
Yes.
Oh my.
Curious mind.
Our relationship began with the exact same question that she posed in her first words with Dowd.
Who are you?
Who are you? And it's exactly how the relationship between Ruth, who Yahweh told you to go and ask to find out what your future was going to be all about. Her world began the same way. Who are you? Who are you? And that's really the ultimate question we need to ask. Who are we? What's our role in life? What's our place in life? What is it we care about? Where are we going? So, as I said, our relationship began and it grew by asking and answering probing questions. And, well, as I've shared in previous programs, Leah was a seamstress, one who worked with and favored all natural fabrics. Boy, you mentioned anything that isn't wool or cotton or linen, and the finest quality of those around Leah, she breaks out in hives. Polyester, that's not this girl's thing. So we'll share what follows. It says, she cares and is concerned regarding seeking to learn about. Darash, she inquires about, accounts for, and ponders the implications of. Wool and flax, shemer and pitah, the hair of sheep to make fabric and for clothing, and the fibers of the flax that are used to make linen and wicks of lights. She continually engages and performs with her pleasing and delightful hands, with her desirable and pleasurable hands, as shefetz is a doubly entendre sort of word if there ever were one. Mashal word picture 31, 12, and 13 now. So Dowd had been Yahweh's prize student. I don't think there's any question about that, with all that he had learned. And clearly he was Yahweh's best and most acclaimed teacher, with all of his proverbs and psalms. And following this intervention with Miss Leah, he would resume learning and sharing. So today's lesson with the king, today's class is going to be on wool and flax. Now, you guys have any idea why she would choose wool and flax, other than they were natural fibers and felt good, looked great? You know, she's going to be making the apparel for the millennial Shabbat, so we're all going to be dressed in Leah. Why would she say wool and flax?
Wool from the lamb and flax in the spring. Flax from the blue that sets it. Yeah.
She would have known that Dowd's role is to serve as the Passover lamb. Therefore, wool. And she would know that Dowd's role is also to serve as the high priest when he returns on Kippurim. So he begins with the lamb and therefore the wool of Passover, but he is also the fine linen of the regalia of the high priest when he anoints the mercy seat when he returns on Yom Kippurim.
He will need some clothes.
So he will need some clothes that are appropriate for wool to be worn. I mean, I am positive that Mr. Dowd was dressed in wool when he served as the Passover lamb. I mean, it's just a bit of symbolism. I mean, what are the odds that God would miss that symbolism?
Right.
Yeah, he's going to be dressed.
Going that far.
You're going that far. He's going to be dressed in wool. You know, zero chance of not. And so she's reminding him, you're going to be dressed in wool, and then you're going to be wearing the regalia of the high priest, so you're going to be dressed in fine linen. And I think it's brilliant to mention both. And again, what it says is, I know my Torah. I trust my Torah. And so with this lesson on flax and wool, Dowd would be known, of course, for both. 1,000 years after Leah's lecture, he would serve as the Passover lamb. And that is the time Passover occurs when the flax blooms, explaining the references to both wool and flax. Moreover, 3,000 years thereafter, Dowd's going to return wearing the linen attire of the high priest to anoint the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant on the day of reconciliations. I'm going to do everything necessary to get it in the proper place. I think he can show up and anoint it. I'm going to even provide him the blood to anoint it. I'm going to be expecting him to follow through and sprinkle some of that on the mercy seat, no doubt about it. And Leah knows what we're all going to go through to get that done. And so this is a way of, okay, you know what? This is your job. A lot of people are engaged making this possible for you.
Craig, fellas, and Leah, especially Leah. One of the things that's kept me going this past week and has actually kept me up while I contemplate the significance of it is no Amah, no Chag Matzah.
Yes.
That, when you think of the significance of that, step back and sell it. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you have an appreciation of that. Why, if there's no Amah, which is the role that Leah's playing here with Dowd, trying to get him back into a reconciled relationship with Yahowah, so he has the trust and confidence to fulfill the Moed Mikre. What Jeff is essentially saying, if this meeting fails, if God didn't arrange this meeting, there would have been no Chag Matzah. No fulfillment of Chag Matzah. And without Chag Matzah being fulfilled,
it's over.
It's over. And the whole human experience is completely over. There's not one of the Moed Mikre is fulfilled. Even going forward, we're not going to fulfill Shavuot. We can't fulfill Shavuot without Bokurim. It's a result of Pesach, Matzah, and Bokurim. We can't fulfill Shavuot, and there'd be no one to benefit from Towrah, and no homecoming on Kippurim, and no one to re-enter the garden. That's how important this is.
So I was reading this article about a Greek female translator who went back into the Greek epics.
Mm-hmm.
And what she had learned is that all of the women, heroic or not, had been absolutely written out of the stories.
Mm-hmm.
The rabbis have done the same thing to Jewish women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a reason why they don't want girls to read the Torah. There really is.
Correct.
And they know it.
Correct. Now, they don't want Dowd returning as their Messiah.
No.
They don't want the Moed Mikre fulfilled.
No.
They don't want any association with
No,
with
it would
Yah.
hurt
They don't
their...
even want to be Yahuwd anymore, which is a blend of Yahweh's name and Dowd's name. They want to be Jews.
They should go live in Ukraine.
Yeah. So it is interesting that God has, in the final word picture, brought us right back to the realization that without a woman, there will be no men. So we may be the principal implements through whom he operated, but in this case, without a woman, there are no men. It's why I think when we move into Isaiah 54,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this entire celebration, this glorious song of praise of the children that will be brought forth, of the barren woman whose title is based on Shama and Shamar and Shem and Shamaim, and her children, by the way, are also brought forth in her marriage to Baal,
Mm-hmm.
the same fellow that is brought
Same
up
fella.
three times in this word picture.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, there is no going forward.
No.
Craig, just by way of review, and Leah, and anyone else who can please help me, how old, again, in Dowd's first manifestation, was he when he fell off the boat with Bathsheba?
54. The reason we know, 56 would be the time. I was off by 2 years. 56, and the reason we can deduce that is that how old was Solomon when he first sat on the throne? We're told, actually, 12. That's the answer. 12. All right. Mm-hmm. So the first child between Bathsheba and Dowd. What happened to that first child?
Died in 7 days. Yeah.
He was
7 days and was dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Died. So Bathsheba becomes pregnant again, doesn't she? And she gives birth to whom?
Solomon.
So that period of time, a woman gets pregnant, delivers a child. That child dies. She gets pregnant again and delivers a child. Would you say that's 2 years? Okay. 2 years. And Solomon was how old again when he took the throne?
12.
12. 2 plus 12 is 14, right? How old was Dowd when he passed away in his first life?
4.
70. 70. So what happens when you subtract 14 from 70? The answer to your question is 54 years old.
56.
56.
Yeah, 56 years old. Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking 54. 56 years old. Yeah, 14 years, therefore 56 years old. That is correct.
You're thinking
And
about.
by the way,
Mizmowr,
those
54.
14 years, they were miserable.
Mhm.
Oh, miserable. He had the death of this child. Then he had the rape of his
Tamar.
daughter.
Mhm.
And then he had the
Absalom.
murder of his eldest son by another of his sons. And then he had this horrible revolt against him by his
It was
son.
one shit show after another.
It was just one disaster after another. What Dowd failed to do, well, it's multi-phase. We think that he drank too much, which is why you began your presentation to him and said, when you have the kind of responsibility you have, you can't drink like this. And then we think that he became way too into just the pleasure of sexuality without a meaningful relationship. And that's when you said, you have a responsibility and you cannot give everything that you are positioned to offer the world just to chase after another woman.
Mhm.
So that's how this whole thing begins.
Zip it, mister.
And so we think that Dowd, and we know that even prior to this, just immediately prior to this, when, remember when in the 7th chapter of 2 Samuel, and Dowd's having a conversation, isn't he? It begins by saying God gave him this wonderful respite. He had just relocated with the help of Obed-Edom, the Ark of the Covenant in Jerusalem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had this marvelous pronouncement that we're just now getting to be more appreciative of, where he was dancing with the ephod of the high priest,
And nothing else.
because he knew that he was bringing the Ark of the Covenant, and he knew the role that he was going to have to play in 3,000 years when he was going to be anointing that Ark of the Covenant, wearing the regalia of the high priest. And he also knew that that was going to escort us back to Eden, where the wardrobe was a smile. And so he was naked, the rest of him.
Like a jaybird.
And so he is symbolizing all of this wonderful thing. And then Shaul, that represents Shaul's
Michael.
daughter,
Shaul's daughter.
Michael, is lambasting him, saying you're not only embarrassing yourself, all of these claims.
You're not as kabod as you think you are with Yahweh.
It's even, all of those claims that you make about yourself with Yahweh. And Dowd would have to acknowledge those claims, because if he doesn't acknowledge the claims, then what's the purpose in God even making them, right?
Uh-huh.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you might say which I said is, listen, I'd rather remain anonymous. It's a lot more fun.
don't
You don't
wanna
have
be
a
the
target
Macri.
on your head.
Way more
I
fun.
mean,
I don't want to be
get
the
that
Macri.
option.
No.
You know, we're playing in Yahweh's sandbox. It's not our sandbox, right?
Mhm.
And so while we have free will, if you're going to be among those serving Yahweh in an important way, you've got to sync your will to his, and he doesn't do anonymous.
Well, he did for the introvert for as long as he could.
Well,
he
that's right. He did free.
made concessions for me.
Well, I think
It's been
just
there the whole
because-
time.
Yeah, it was there the whole time. It's just
Yeah.
that we weren't prepared to understand.
Mhm.
And
I just want to say to everybody that I think that in the history of humankind, that the Amma has performed the most important renewal, revival, and resuscitation.
Yes,
Because without that,
none of us are here.
None of us are here.
So
So
there's no purpose for anything we're doing, because nothing would have played out the way it was supposed to. And you might say, okay, God's really powerful. God can do whatever he wants. But the answer is no, he can't. No, he can't. When God said that, he's there with the children of Israel, and they say, we don't want to hear directly from you again. We don't want to see you again. And God said, you're right. It's a lot better. And we're going to be more successful if I work through people than if I do this myself. Now, so what? Can he go and solve problems by himself? No, he described the way he was going to work. And the hardest part of me coming to understand this was understanding time, how it was possible for somebody that I know and love to have performed in this manner. And the answer finally came to me. We were having a lovely lunch. We kind of got away from everything. And I said, I have the answer now. Because you can't go back in time.
No.
I mean, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to visually see some of the things that have happened previously. I think it would be fun to see, dinosaurs, for example. Wouldn't you love to see a pterodactyl fly?
You. No, thank you.
Okay. Well, I want to see a brontosaurus walk. I think it would be lovely. Yeah, I think it'd be neat. I still want to challenge him on the platypus. And so I want to be there when he designed the platypus and go back, see how he did that. And so I have some clues as to how I can design mine. My platypus is going to have feathers and going to look like a parrot and fly. So I'm going to win that contest somehow. I'd like to go back and see all of that. So, but you can't intervene. You intervene. If somebody goes back in time and intervenes, it would be like exceeding the speed of light, and the universe itself would unravel. There would be a rip in cause and effect, such that it is a logical impossibility to do that. So there is a solution. And the solution is that God created souls. Now, I think he has a mechanism, of course, that just delivers a soul with natural animal conception going forward. But I think that there were some souls that he says, I'm going to start off with these. And I think those souls he has interjected into the process at various times and put them in, put them out. I think that Leah, for example, as the Amma, we're told that it was an Amma, was interjected to save Moshe as a baby and to get Moshe in the place he needed to be, which was in Pharaoh's household, so he could learn just how disgusting religion and politics and the caste system are and reject those things, but know why God was opposed to them. And so I think that
there was one of
she's the Amma.
Ammas that were deployed to save a child, an infant, from a murderous king of Israel. Mm-hmm. And it was she was celebrated as saving the Davidic line.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I do think that there are times when God says, I'm going to intervene here. And if he's doing it in the ordinary flow of time, then it has no consequence on interrupting cause and effect. So we know that he can put a soul into.
So are you saying that I'm an old soul?
You are an old soul.
Okay.
Yes.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I think you're looking pretty good for
an old soul.
For 4,000 years old.
So is that your proposed mechanism, your mechanism of insertion?
He does have a mechanism insertion, which is that DNA is able, with that alphabet, he can create a physical body at any time. He does one for himself when he puts his nefesh in it, and he can do it at any time. He obviously does it for Dowd. Dowd did not show up as a baby in his second of 3 lives when he fulfilled Pesach. I think he arrived the same number of years that he passed away in his first life before year 3,000 Yah. He passed away between 3 and 4 years before year 3,000 Yah. I think he was inserted 3.5 to 4 years before year 4,000 Yah to fulfill Pesach, Matzah, and Bakurim. And God can, with DNA, create a body. He can take the nefesh soul and put the nefesh soul into that body, and then remove the nefesh soul when it's time for him to remove it. So insert, remove. Tsadaq was the example I was looking for, that here was somebody that walked with Yah, did something that was important for Yah to cause all of this to play out this way, and then God just simply removed him and takes people in and out of the timeline. Pardon?
I said literally a deus ex machina.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Walked one day and the next day he was gone. And oh, by the way, when I actually looked up, because you corrected me, Kevin, because in the English transliterations, the difference between Hanak and which is Enoch and Enosh are really quite similar, and you're quite different in the spelling in Hebrew. But the Tsadaq, that is the basis of the man who walked with God and then was taken, is actually perfect for this. What it says is he was trained and prepared and devoted to the job. He was dedicated to the job and prepared and trained for it. And we're not told what the job was because we didn't need to know. But
You're on a need to know basis.
I have somebody that's prepared to do what I need done, and they will get it done. And then, we'll go on, because it's the only way that he can make certain that the key elements of his plan
stay on track.
So that's what he did. And speaking
so, Leah,
of
how does it feel to be the first person to deal with stem cell technology 50 years ago?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's actually a beautiful concept when you understand how this is possible from God's point of view and why he would do it this way. Bill, you were dealing with questions. You were trying to figure out how in the world could God have this person that is a Nakar or a foreigner, and he would come up with insights that nobody else had come up with, and is this person there, and whether or not is he credible in this role that God has discussed. And I think it was Leah who interrupted a series of emails on that topic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you received an email directly from her. I had a chance, first time ever, to see it earlier this morning, because I heard that. Yeah, you wanted to share what she had written to you. Thought it was appropriate for this show. Yeah. And I read it, and I was saying, "Man, that is really well written." It is. Yeah. It was. It's pure Leah. It was very forceful, but very polite, right?
Yeah. Oh, she was great.
Yeah, and but she stuck by her guns, man. She says, "No, it is important for you to know that. I mean, the whole concept is for us to know."
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I going back, Craig, when I first came to this whole thing, I was listening to Jeff Rentz, and apparently that Jeff Rentz show from September 2019 was a popular show, and a lot of people seem to come on board with that. Isn't
that amazing?
Yeah,
I can hardly remember. I mean, I did 10,000 of these, and so
I remember that show specifically. I was like, Jeff Rentz. Do you know who that is? Yeah, he's huge, but he's a weirdo.
No, but he's also
but you can't get any. Yeah, but you can't get any weirder than Art Bell and George Norrie of Coast to Coast. That was the top radio. That was absolutely that. Even when Rush Limbaugh was doing his thing, the top listening radio show in the world was Coast to Coast. Played in midnight essentially, and Art Bell was the founder of it. George Norrie took it over. And I recall when I was first on that one where Art Bell called me out of the blue. He had already retired, and he says, "I'm really bothered by what we're doing in Afghanistan and Iraq. It bothers me tremendously. I think we're making a mistake." And the only person I have heard worldwide that I have found that understands the mistake that we're making and making a bad situation worse is you. I want to go back. I've been asked to do 2 shows, 2 3-hour shows, 6 hours of airtime. I've said I will do it if I can speak on that topic and if you'll be my guest. Because we're not going to do weird stuff. We're not going to do aliens and extraterrestrials. We're not going to do conspiracy. I think this is vital for America to know that we made a tremendous mistake. Will you do it with me? Knowing the consequence, because this is broadcast in every English-speaking country of the world, and you're going to get a lot of blowback.
Yeah, at the time, it was career suicide.
And I said, yes, I would do it. We did 3 hours the first night. We did another 3-hour segment together. And then George Norrie came back from vacation. We did 3 hours. And then we did another 3 hours.
Mhm.
So that was the most controversial show I think I was ever on, and ended up doing 12 hours of coast to coast with Art Bell and George Norrie. So this other
I
show.
remember you did one day. In one day, you did 7 hours of radio.
I think that the most the one I laughed at the most, but he had a huge audience nationally, was Bubba the Love Sponge. Do you remember Bubba the Love Sponge? He had a syndicated show, and he was listening and he was actually very
Bubba the
bright.
Love
You know,
Sponge.
he was quite the interviewer. But oh yeah, when you do 10,000 of them, you're gonna.
I must have missed that one.
Yes. So anyways, that's how you heard me. I was making a presentation.
Mhm.
Yeah. And, I just think, recently we've been talking a lot about Leah and the last proverb and the role that she's playing in the productive mother. And I went back and I reread that email, and I always carried the experience with me. But I went back today, I was rereading the email, and it's like, here I have, if you looked at it, this would be 6 months later, because it was my first Chag Matzah. And 6 months later, I was writing you, telling you how great I thought it was. But I did say, I'm not sure if you're the Nakri, but you're really having a profound effect on my life, etc. And that's when Leah sort of interjected and said, well, if you don't know, then who's going to know for you? In other words, you can't know for me, Craig, and Kirk can't know for me. If I don't know, then who's going to know? So, what a great piece of advice to get early on, because you talk about BN, right? Well, you have all these disparate points of knowledge, and then you pull them together for understanding, but you can't even get there if you don't have the knowledge. And so she was saying, you've got to be better at knowing. And so we can also make those public, Leah, if you're comfortable. I'm certainly
we'll do that. And let me tell you, I think that the reason that she said that, beyond the fact that she's driven by knowing, she is not a belief or opinion girl. She is driven by knowing. It's like if somebody asks me, what do you believe? I don't believe anything. I either know or I don't know.
Nothing. I don't believe anything.
But what she's saying is the answer that Yahweh gave to Miriam when Miriam said, we also speak for God. And that is, if you're speaking for God, not only is that person going to know it, like Moshe knew it, but
everyone else.
I will have made it clear that that person is someone that I'm speaking through. And you find that
you get the Yahweh stamp of approval. He will let you know.
Right. You find that the Torah is filled with these references from the Lesser Luminary and Bereshith 1 to the Tree of Knowledge, and Bereshith 2 that is then tied to the Choder and Yashaya 11, and using the same exact terminology. But when we talked about the Nakri the first time, we were looking at 2 Chronicles 6. Yes. And the reason we were looking there, because the Zeroah is what took us to that presentation. And when we were there, there's this probably the most profoundly stunning prophecy anywhere in the Torah, prophets, and Psalms about this Nakri that's going to come in the last days. And it's really important for Israel to listen to him and respond to him. But the interesting thing, Will, is that is not the first mention by a long shot of the Nakri.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
The Nakri has an entire chapter of Devarim. So Moshe kicks it right off and said, this is the guy that is going to come in the end, and he's the guy that's going to get you resolved in your relationship with Yahweh.
Yeah.
And of course, then he has the entire 15th chapter of Numbers. Must be the most amazing presentation of how God's going to resolve the guilt of Israel and ultimately bring the people into the ultimate promised land, which is the return to the Garden of Eden. So it's all over the place. But I happen to be with you in this, and that when you first read it, you say, oh, man, I don't want it to be true. Too much responsibility. Let's find a way to wiggle out of this one. And then you read the second, and then the third, and then the fourth. And by the time you've seen it, several hundred times, and there's nobody else that fits the role, and what you're doing with Yahowah is a perfect match for it. After a while, you say, okay,
I guess
God doesn't do anonymous. What he's telling us is the same thing he told Miriam and Aaron when speaking on behalf of Moshe. By the way, do you know what God said is the reason that he worked with Moshe? He was the most at something.
He was the most responsive.
That is correct.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah.
He was the most anah of all humans. He was the most responsive, which means the only thing that you need to be willing to do to be chosen for this job
show up.
Is to show up.
Show up.
Just to show up. You know, I've always said I won the job by default. I was the only person that showed up. Yeah. So there you go. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and share them. Will, by the way, you are probably the only person in well, you and I now share something in common. There are now 2 wins, of which Leah is now the more famous win, based upon the last word picture. You may not be the most beloved and famous O'Brien in our group.
Oh,
yeah, it could be your son.
Oh, yeah. He's really taking the whole thing by
awesome.
Yeah. I was just going to be honest with you. You know, I'm now playing second fiddle to my wife, and I rather like that role. But your son is a superstar in our family and much beloved.
Thank you,
Bill. I'm going to say something to you as a fellow Northeasterner. Your aptitude is amazing. Your son is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm going to make this very easy for you. Okay. LTL, bro. LTL.
What's that?
Yeah, that's the slogan of Jeff was always listen to Leah. His father was the one that came up with it. So
LTL.
it worked out really well for Jeff. And now that Leah is now in this role, and I get to be her husband, I feel like a little like JFK when he took Jacqueline Onassis to Europe on the first trip, and he says, I happen to be the fellow that's escorting the beautiful Jacqueline Onassis, or not Onassis at that time, but Jacqueline Kennedy, and I feel a little bit like that too. So I can empathize with you, pal. And by the way, it's a really good position to be in.
Yes. It is. I like the attention deflected away from me, but I do want to say, Yada, over these last year or so, Leah has really taken it on the chin with this sort of this other group, D and her cohorts, and I just thought back, here I was in the covenant 6 months, and look at sort of. Not to give a weird metaphor, but it's like a mother's milk. Like here's Leah teaching essentially a newborn covenant member about knowing, and that's the role of a mother.
Yes, it
is.
So
my experience with Leah is wonderful. And listen, she wasn't rude. She was just being very straight up. But this was an important thing for me to get. It wasn't really optional. Either you're the supreme knower in your life. So either you can know for yourself or you can't. And so she put it out there as such. And then I walked with that this whole time. So that's just, that's the fruit of a mother. And so I just, I felt very defensive over Leah, recently with all this that's going on. And then when I came across that story, I said, oh my God, this is really something I think important for the family to know.
I will also tell you, Will, there is somebody that is far more defensive of Leah than you and me.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Jeff.
Yeah.
That happens to be Yahowah.
Yeah.
When we read Yashaya 56 and 57, and then 54, and then this mashal here, and what the answer was when you go ask Ruth and who Leah was and what she had to say, man, if there is no woman on earth who's ever been more beloved and supported. So Yahowah also has her back, and it is typical Yahowah. In other words, Yahowah doesn't say that's my woman, that's my girl, that's the mother of mothers, that's the most productive mother, that is the one who is delivering the benefits and the blessings, until you've proven that you can be trusted. And you can't prove that you haven't been trusted until you're viciously attacked and recover from it.
Yeah.
Several times.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a little secret. Even my enemy knows that Yahweh loves me.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was the first to tell me so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty obvious. So you want to share that? I don't know if it's 1 or 2 letters, but go ahead. Go ahead, Will.
Oh, what, the emails?
Yeah. You feel free to share them.
Oh, okay. Hold on here. I will pull them up on my phone. I don't have them on my computer, but that's no problem. I can get those up. All right. Let me see here. So I had said these are kind of long here, so I'll try to paraphrase a little bit. Well, I started out and I said, "Hi, Yada. I hope you're well. I recently celebrated Pesach, Matzah, and Bikurim, and I cannot tell you what an incredible experience it was. I feel I've come home. I'm now working through the initial chapters of Coming Home in Our Time that you sent me a month or so back, and your insights are profound. It's interesting how Yah reveals his truth little by little, and if you're willing to stick with it and persevere through your own religiosity, you can make progress. Agreeing to set aside what you have been taught and just listening without interrupting Yah, putting reason and rationale above blind faith, has proven to be a spiritual boon for me. Thank you for your work. I've read most of it, I think. It's difficult to put into words, so I'll just say thank you. Whether you are the observant, this is what got me in hot water. Whether you are the observant foreigner or not, it's not for me to say, but your observations and diligence are having a profound effect on my life. Yah and Dowd must notice this. Thank you, friend Will. And then you wrote back, I'm very happy for you, the whole covenant family. There's no better time to be protected by Yah. And then I guess Leah had seen the email, and so she said, I don't usually chime in on many things, but in this case, I have something to add to the conversation that should be considered. Yahweh asks us to judge rightly, and in this instance of how we cognate the world and what is happening in and around us. This advice is imperative if we are to be able to learn what is true or false. With that in mind, I will address the comment contained in your email in a direct yet thoughtful way. So she just paraphrased, whether you are the observant foreigner or not is not for me to say, but your observations and diligence are having a profound effect on my life. So this is Leah said, if it is not for you to say, then how will you know? Of course it is for you to say. It is your life and your decision, and such decisions never should be put in the hands of any other man other than your own. It is written that you should listen to him, male singular. So then who is this girl? And then there's a lot, like Leah shared some of her backstory. You want me to read that as well? Or do you just want?
No, you can, sure. Yeah, it's good. We're all very personal. It's she doesn't have any good secrets anymore.
No,
Thanks to somebody.
yeah. Nobody does anymore, right?
I'm delighted.
Yeah. My first interaction with Yada was very confrontational. For centuries, Yehudi have been told that whatever you do, never trust Goyim. Do not marry them. Do not mingle with them. Do not become close, and do not do business with them, if possible. And above all else, never trust them. It is no secret that my tribe came to this conclusion. Even Yahweh supports the idea and put it into our minds. However, this is a big deal. There is one singular exception outlined clearly in the Torah, located in Shalomo's dedication words on Mount Moriah. And if we are not able to decide for ourselves who this person is, well, then it is all worth nothing, isn't it? Our ability to choose freely between Paul and Dowd is clear, cut and dry, and our ability to choose religion and liberation is also. But why stop there? That would be illogical and detrimental to knowing. Shouldn't it be core to all of our decisions to be judgmental? If not, then how can anyone be right or accurate? I was extremely judgmental with Yada in our first communique, and I had a solid reason backed by Towrah and by our history to have that stance. Doubt should be in our interest, for without it, one would never question. And I had questions. I questioned him as to why he was interested in our books and how we knew the Ruach Kodesh was feminine. and why he loved Hebrew words when he was not from our tribe. And why would a Goyim love our books and be able to ascertain more correctly than we have? These things perplexed me, and why not? I still question him about topics all the time, but I no longer question the role Yada plays as the gur, because either you know or you don't. It is, and this is the emphasis that Leah added, it is for you to say, it is for you to determine, it is for you to decide, and it is vitally important that you think, feel, and know that you are accurate. I mean, guys, this is priceless. I mean, the valuable advice I got so early on, and now looking back at it, because, at that time I didn't have the right perspective. I didn't realize what I had been given. It was so much more valuable. I thought she was just giving me a hard time, and I wasn't responding. But she was, sometimes when you're young and your mom reprimands you or calls you account, it's not a lot of fun. And then when you look back, you're like, wow, my God, she told me that because it was so critical for the walk.
Yeah, and actually, she wasn't reprimanding you. She was encouraging you.
Yes,
she was encouraging you. Yeah, by the way, I get it. I get the exact same treatment all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, if God has another presentation, another chapter of the work we're doing together, I'll just say, oh come on, it's just too much already. I mean, come on, God, we got to tone it down. I got too many targets on me. Could you please just tone it down a little bit? And I said, Leah, I really don't want to go there. Let's deal with our plate's already full. Let's not add to it. And she'll come off just as exactly the way that she did with you.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, so it's encouragement to step up and do the right thing. It's not a rebuke.
Let me
because nobody lives in your skin but you.
It's caring and a chab. It's caring and a chab. Trust me on that one.
Yeah. Let me read this last paragraph because I think it really kind of shows where Leah was coming from. It says, I say this with the utmost respect and kindness, both for you as an individual thinker and as a person with feelings and judgment. Yes, it is for you to decide, especially if this person is having a profound effect on your life. If not, how will we know? Not knowing is a dangerous position. Question everything always in all kindness, Leah. So that's really great, guys. And I'm just so glad I was able to share that experience I had with Leah. And so I've always had a lot of respect for her, even though we don't really interact, over anything. But
that was beautifully written.
Thank you.
It really was.
Thank you.
And the part that you were a little hesitant to share, which was her personal backstory, is actually as important in that as any other, because as Dr. Jeff knows, and the Jewish community, they have misinterpreted the Yahweh's instruction on the goy.
Yes.
What they have, because God has, goy can participate in everything. If there's a goy that's hanging out with you and a goy that is interested in what you're doing and realizes that the same Torah, same Pesach, same everything for the goy that there is for the Yehudim, what God said is absolutely include them. They are part of the family.
In fact, Israel gets reprimanded and reminded.
Yes.
You were held captive in Mitzrayim, so you were to treat the gur
absolutely
with kindness,
right? And so
as your own.
What he is saying is, don't emulate the ways of the goyim. It's not so. Don't be.
But the rabbis are want to twist
rude
everything.
To the goyim, ostracize them. Don't implement their ways. It didn't say don't marry them. He just said don't implement their ways. Yeah, and what are the ways of the goy? It was politics and religion, and incorporating those two things together, which we call Babel, which is the to confuse by integrating and commingling religion and politics, truth and lies. And so the children of Israel did emulate the ways of the goy. They actually studied it straight out with Shaul.
Oh,
we want a king like the goy. So we want to be political like the goy. And the first thing they did when they were liberated from Mitzrayim is build a religious altar that was goy with the
goyish.
Yeah, the goyish.
It was very goyish.
Yeah, the bull. So that was the instruction: is don't do what you have done, which is to be religious and political, but God's got this over and over and over again. It must be just with the Nakar, the Nakri, and the Gur. that one alone must appear 50 times.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. So God says,
It is
this is your
overwhelming.
lifeline. I'm going to give you this lifeline. And I'm giving you this lifeline because I couldn't find any one of you that would do your job. There wasn't a single one of you that was responsible and responsive. And so I decided I was going to work with this guy. And, you know, he at least was willing to listen to me. He was willing to act upon what I had said. He was willing to investigate my words, go where they lead, and boldly state them. And he would continue to share them with you, even when you spit back in his face.
I tell you, Craig, I totally concur with Leah with the rabbinical chicanery. And true to form, he brings it full circle. Our wonderful Abba in Yashaya 63 with Obed Edom. And boom, there right in the rabbi's face.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's not Obed Yahuwd, is he?
No, he's Obed Edom.
Yeah,
like in
he's Obed
Esau.
Edom.
It's
Yeah,
not
Esau.
just it's not just Obed Edom. It's also Obed Edom and Yahweh's Amma.
Yeah, Obed Edom and Yahweh's Amma. But
Yes.
and
Yes.
and
Thank you.
the very fact that through this word picture, this Amma of Yahweh, this productive mother who is Ashar, the one delivering the benefits and the blessings, she is yoked to a man. He's Baal here, and he is a Zeroah, and his name is Yada. So what she's doing here, and what God's saying here is, I'm marrying a Yahuwd to my favorite goy. This is the marriage, and oh, by the way, they're the ones that are going to deliver the covenant family.
Mm-hmm.
And the covenant family is being delivered by a marriage between a Yahuwd and a goy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And isn't that appropriate? Because let me ask you a question.
Stick that in your pipe, rabbis,
Well,
and smoke it.
Abraham and Sarah, are they Jewish? Are they Yahuwd and Israelites? Or are they Babylonians?
The Chaldeans,
Babylonians, aren't they? How could you be any more goy than a Babylonian? Right?
Yahweh said, your
Okay,
mother was
so-
a Hittite and your father was an
Right.
Amorite.
So you have to be careful where you find that, Leah. You like to say that, but you don't know you don't remember where it came from. Okay, so the next
that's I know where that comes
It
from.
comes from Ezekiel. So the next to be born is Yishak.
Yeah.
He's the product of two Babylonians, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he'd be Babylonian. So he would not be a Yisraelite, would he?
No.
No. So Abraham and Sarah, the first two to participate in the covenant, they're both Goyim.
Goyish.
And Ishak, their son, is a Goyim. And they sent Ishak off to find a wife, Rebecca. And her heritage is what?
I think she came from Padam Haram.
She came from Haram, which is where
Syria.
Syria,
Basically.
The clan with Abraham and Sarah came through. She's Babylonian.
Mm-hmm.
Another one.
Yep, she's a distant relative. She's Babylonian, and so then she has Jacob and Esau, and it's lovely that God's going to rectify that situation with the man from Edom and resolve the birthright issue there. And that'll be the first family, by the way, is delivered by the man from Edom. So it solves the birthright issue with Esau. But Jacob, he is sent off to Laban, who is related to all of this clan. And so Jacob is a Babylonian, and he marries two Babylonian girls. So I don't think we have a Jew in the mix yet, do we?
And a bunch of Babylonian maidservants.
So what God is saying is, I'm going to bring this all together. This is my way. I'm going to bring it all together. The way I'm going to bring it all together is we're going to have a man who is a Goyim. He's going to be married to my favorite Yahuwd, and between them, we're going to deliver the covenant family. Just as, guess what? There are two chariots that arrive in Jerusalem to celebrate the sacrifice of the Adam of Parah. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And the white one is filled with what race?
Yahud.
Yeah, Israelites, right?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And
Israelites.
And the dappled one is filled with what group?
Goy.
Goy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the story. And I realized that the reason it was so important for you to read that part, Will, is that what Israel is not willing to do at this point is they're not willing to listen. I can tell them till I'm blue in the face that all of your rabbis know, that there is a profoundly important prophetic statement regarding the arrival of the Nakri. It's in Devarim 29. It's there. And you know that the single most important public address given in all of Israel, by far the most important public address, was given by the wisest man alive at the time, Solomon, at the commencement of the house of Yahweh's name. And you know that that Nakri is the person that speaks to you in the last days, who is your last hope, and you need to either listen to him or it's over for you. You know those prophecies are there. You're familiar with the great Isaiah scroll. You know that the single most important prophecy in the great Isaiah scroll is the chapter that is devoted to the Choder.
11.
You know it's there. You know what it says on the fourth day of creation about the greater and lesser luminaries. You know about the interaction of the trees of knowledge leading back to the tree of lives.
Yes, here's
This is your story. You know this story. And why are you not acknowledging it? Why are you chasing after an unnamed Messiah when there is virtually nothing prophetic said about the arrival of an unnamed Messiah?
Okay, so I can go back to the story of Adam. You can know, but Yahweh can't make you care.
No,
There
it
you
can't
go.
make you be observant.
No.
That was the whole test that Adam, first man, failed.
Mhm.
He was
That
there, but
makes
he
it
was not
worse.
observant. He
What
was
Leia's
there,
saying,
but he
that
didn't
makes-
engage in the
That makes
relationship.
it worse. That makes it much worse to know
Of course it
and then
does.
essentially, basically choke the life out of your people.
Right. That's the thing that you mentioned, this other clique that has been so vicious and demeaning to the woman that God cares so much about. And they're in the worst possible position. They're just like Miriam. They were there given the opportunity to know and absolutely had all access to knowing, and then turned their backs and became vicious in attacking and demeaning. That is the worst of all possible scenarios, and that's the scenario they put themselves in. It was their choice, and there is no coming back from that.
Let Yahweh judge between her and I.
Oh, he's already has. It's one is the very definition of Shamaim, which is the as we'll get into eventually, Yeshaya 54. You're introduced as the Shamam, and Shamam is basically Shama and Shamar with a dose of Shem, name, and Shamaim, heaven, all rolled into one with an extra mem, which is the an emphasis on the water that breaks when a mother delivers a child and a new life is born. God's all over this. He is.
It's like the
celebrating it.
It's like the Nakri. It's the Amma and the related words to it, the Alma and the references to barren woman, or it is all woven throughout the entire story.
Yeah, we might have to have Leah write a book.
Yeah, I'd read it. I'll take the first copy.
But that happens to be the most for all of us in terms of thinking this through and knowing rather than believing. Her words were wise, and she was very stern. In fact, that is the same voice we're listening to in this final word picture. Same exact attitude, same exact voice, delivered exactly the same way. In other words, when Yahweh put her nefesh soul into this person to speak to his son to resolve this problem, Leah's personality has not changed over the ages. This is who she is.
Pretty much.
She's blunt. She's bold. She's right in your face. She is. Think it through, boys.
I like the word pragmatic.
Pragmatic. Okay, she's very pragmatic.
Pragmatic.
She's very logical. She's very right-brained in her process. But it's the message to her people that pay attention here. You need to know who this person is because God said you needed to listen to him. and you haven't been listening, and things have gone very bad for you as Israelites, and they're going to get a whole lot worse over these next 7 years.
Yes.
And you've been given a lifeline, and there are countless prophecies about this lifeline, and you're fixated on an unnamed Messiah where there are no prophecies, and you're completely ignorant of this lifeline, of which there are 1,000 mentions throughout the Torah and prophets, beginning in the first chapter of the first book of the Torah and running all the way through the last statement in the last paragraph of the last of the prophets of Malachi. It's woven through this whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know that there's also a layer to it that God says, I'm going to provide a marriage for the two of them. And that marriage, that family is going to be, that's the couple that bears the covenant children. Because it says everywhere that the role that God has asked me to play is to deliver the covenant family to Dowd. That's the role. That's the whole role. Mm-hmm. Deliver the covenant family to Dowd. Now I've always known that that God's ultimate gift was this arranged marriage, and now we find that He had intended it to be this way all along.
Yeah, we joked about it for a long time, for years, that it was an arranged marriage. Now we found out it kind of was. Yeah.
So returning just to this narrative, there is no hiding from the fact, and thank you, Will, for sharing that. Yes, and you know that the way that we work this is that if you've got a question or a comment, you jump right in. You have to step on me pretty hard to get my attention. My whole one of there's just laughing. Kirk, of course, is as well. I am not known for having a shortage of words. No. But nor has anyone that's ever associated with Yahweh. You don't find Moshe tripping on his tongue. He laid it all out there, and Dowd certainly was the most verbose of all of the prophets. And my favorite prophet, Yeshayah, had a lot to say. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot to communicate, and I'm going to fill every moment that's available to me. And you know, my favorite is to be interrupted and have somebody else add to it, because when we have the opportunity to do what you just did, Will, it is so much more reassuring and reinforcing than just to have me share what I'm learning. Because what it means is that the message is resonating within you, and now you can convey it in a way with conviction. And that is the multiplicitous synergy that Yahweh is trying to achieve with the covenant family. He wants this whole family to engage and to make a contribution.
And I'm also proof that we're growing.
We're growing. Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm proof that we're growing. I mean, that they gave me great advice. I followed it. And now I'm not an expert knower, but I certainly know a lot more than I did. And I'm able to make the connections now. Mm-hmm. So that was a great foundational piece that she gave me, for sure.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we're all about. So now, as we return to this narrative, there really is no hiding from the fact that when it says her hands are quite pleasurable, that Leah is trying to reach Dowd where he is. And where was Dowd? He was into the sensual pleasures of a woman.
He was thinking with the other head.
He was. So my wife is going to reach him and say, in the right kind of marriage, your wife is going to know what you need, and she's going to give you what you need. You're going to be really happy. But you need to also, sometimes Leah will walk in and I'll be, I'm a guy, I'm a very visual creature, and say, wow, you're really looking great. She said, no, I'm up here a little higher.
A little higher.
Yeah, a little higher. Yeah. And that's kind of what she's saying. I have no issue with you being pleased with what I look like. But it's bright and beautiful. Bright comes before the beauty, and both are important if you're going to have a loving relationship. And so she is needling him with the brilliance part and the Torah instructions, while also hitting him where he is, and says, your wife can be very pleasing to you. She's going to know what it is that is pleasing to you, because she's going to care about you. And she wants you to be satisfied. Now, the advantage of this for all of us is that there really are very few things in life that are as empowering, as enabling, as reassuring, as enjoyable as being intimate with somebody you trust explicitly, that cares deeply about you, and that you're interested in pleasing one another. That, I mean, that is a really good thing. And not very
Even
few people
Wookie
actually
loves
get to
it.
it. Yeah, very few people get to actually experience it the way that it was designed to work. And what Leah is doing is she's advocating for that.
Mhm.
You know, and also she's saying, hey, man, if you got one woman that knows what she's doing,
You don't need 10.
you don't need 10. Well, in fact, 10 is counterproductive. If you got one that knows what they're doing, that's a lot better than 10.
Go for quality, not
Right.
quantity.
So this is, it's very much like the covenant. God's not going for quantity with the covenant. He's going for quality.
There you go,
Yeah.
boys. And there's a bit, I'm telling him basically, there's a difference between love and lust. Boys ought to learn.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a boy and a man.
Yeah. So I just want to say that there really is no hiding from the realization in this Mizmowr. And this is one of the reasons why I'm glad that we have a more grown up and mature group of women that are part of the covenant. You know, in fact, I think it's universal with them now that there's some 20 women that are really very active and commenting on Torah related things. And they're all much more mature. So if God's going to talk about something that has a sensual nature, they're not all freaked out. And that used to be the covenant. I mean, every time that I would write about, well, God said this, they said, well, you can't say that. And I said, well, he wrote about it. I'm not going to shy away from it. And in this case, there's lots of sexual innuendo, because sex is an important way that men
Because
and women
we are
align.
not Christians. We're not prudes. And,
No.
and just stop it.
And by the way, when we go into the millennial celebration of Shabbat, you can wear that silly grin,
Yeah.
Kirk,
Mhm.
because it's going to be a sensual experience, because we're going to beget children. Absolutely, unequivocally. So that group that goes into the millennial Shabbat are going to make love, and they are going to be productive, creating children. And that's a big part of the whole process. And I will assure you that will not be painful. That is not going to be something, oh my God, no. God, he's going to expect me to have a kid. I don't want to do that. Boy, I had to make love to my wife. And no, it's going to be fun. I mean, it is. Well, what was the garden called? Was it called Eden? And does Eden mean, oh boy, that's really miserable?
Garden of great joy.
No fun.
Joy.
No fun. It means great joy, right?
Okay, here's the truth,
Right.
kids. Let me just lay it out for
Okay,
you.
Leah's going to lay it out for you.
Sex, the Christian way is a horrible thing. The Muslim way is a horrible thing. The Judaism way, it's a terrible thing. It's awful.
Yeah, it is. Well, my first marriage, sex was an awful thing. I mean, I tried to run from it. It was awful.
Yes. The truth is that if the orgasm were so much fun and so pleasurable, why would Yahweh make it this way if it weren't meant to be enjoyed by loving people together?
Yes.
Now, the difference between boys and men are really, can you control your lust? And do you respect women? Because what we have done to one another, we don't just lord over one another. We've perverted each other's roles beyond anything. We're so twisted in how we relate to one another.
And being exposed in one another's presence in a loving situation, it is a marvelous experience.
Yeah.
And I will assure you that God didn't make women this attractive, as the most attractive thing on the planet, just to torment us. No, it's I mean, I get it. I'm on the program at this point, as they say, and I know that I say a lot of things about love and women and men together that are way outside of the realm of societal norms and of religion. But I think they're consistent with what God's saying. I've studied the Torah, and this is what God says. You know, I don't want you to pervert this. Don't sex with in the family with the children and with parents, and that's really, really bad. Stealing another man's wife, which is what Dowd did, really, really bad. That shows that you can't be trusted.
Murder is bad.
Yes.
And bestiality, really, really bad.
bad.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of a person that's a fallen warrior and sodomizing them, that's really, really
Horrible.
bad. Don't do those things. So he has, if you have a slave, because slaves were integrated into every society of humanity until less than 100 years ago, and so he said you cannot abuse them. This is wrong. Don't do that. And even with your wife, there are some things I want you to understand. If she is having that special time of month, you leave her alone. That she needs to be left alone. She's better for the relationship for you to be left alone. It's healthier for you to leave her alone at that time. And by
Much
the way,
healthier.
You'll be ready and excited to see her when she's had a week away and a week off. So God's understanding of all this is wonderful, and He doesn't want us to be miserable together. He never says unto death do you part, or that you can only have one, or that you can't have any fun outside of marriage. Doesn't even have a marriage ceremony or a word for marriage. Mm-hmm. So it is very different with God than it is
with religion.
With religion. So
that's one of those.
All of this, I think, is appropriate.
Is the whole a man looks upon a woman with lust, he has committed adultery in his heart. Yeah, God made woman beautiful. God gave man instinct to be attracted to women. And then he's going to say it's a sin for you to follow the instinct and be attracted to a woman. Yeah. That's why the whole New Testament is trash. Yeah. That is absolutely untrue. You had Jimmy Carter, who was the one that put Iran in this mess that it's in right now, the great anti-Semite. Sure. And he said on a Playboy interview, "I've lusted in my heart." That is just utter and complete nonsense. Men out there can say they haven't looked at a woman and had lust. No. It's just of course not. I mean, they're beautiful. I'm not sorry about it at all. I think women are absolutely gorgeous, but I know that when I went through the period of significant dating after my really loveless marriage, is that every woman that I met and that I had a relationship with brought something wonderful to the table. And I gave them things that they didn't have otherwise, and they brought things that I hadn't experienced. And everybody has something to offer. And you can get together with people in a really nice, nurturing, positive way that's quite honorable, and both gain something from the process. But what I also found is that there is this thing of completeness and of being able to relate on a very meaningful level and developing trust. And when you have that, oh my, then everything is literally, Edenish, loving, supportive. I mean, people always talk about this show, that when Leah does the show and I'm talking about her or I'm looking at her, that I have a little twinkle in my eye. Yeah, I think she's beautiful. We have a marvelous relationship together. And it is so much better when you find one person that meets all of those things that you're looking for and really completes you, and that you can have confidence, and you can also give them what they need and what they want in their lives. And it's a marvelous thing. So anyway, the double entendres here were appropriate, because it's true that Dowd was overly fixated on the sexual rather than the contribution of the partners on other levels. I mean, there's no discussion that Dowd has with anybody that he is married to that says, this is a really intellectual woman, and I'm learning from her, and she's contributing to me, and we're going to go talk Torah. He never knew that. I do. And in this case, because both are better than one,
when you have that kind of a relationship. So it was a conversation between adults with the hope that we would be mature enough to process it as well, which is why I think God waited towards the end of our growth together for us to confront this, so we can speak of it in a very mature way. And you can't even process this until you know what Dowd's role is, that the relationship between father and son had to be resolved, or the whole human experience is for naught. So it was conveyed in a manner that allowed multiple layers of interpretation while not offending a child, because what is being discussed here and the way it's being discussed is those metaphors are not going to be picked up by a child, not going to offend any child. And yet with an adult, they're going to say, oh, I get that. Okay, that's positive. So I think that the symbolism is obvious to an adult and not offensive to a child. And in saying that the ideal wife engages and performs with her pleasing hands, Leah is revealing that the right woman is better than many women. It is a lesson that is lost up to this point, that had been lost on her adoptive son. And she was saying that she, as a mother, would weave the fabrics to adorn him appropriately, even in the regal manner, both in wool and in linen. And also that she was going to do the same thing for his wives. She was going to make his wives more attractive and more appealing and more presentable for him. And I think wife plural is what she's inferring. Further, I see in these words that Leah might lead by example and teach a properly curated future wife how to satisfy and inspire her king. I think there is a significant amount of that, okay, you chose really poorly. And so I'm good at this. I'm going to help you, and I'm going to have a woman that is ready for you. And she is up to speed on her Towrah. She is up to speed on knowing her role in support. And you guys are going to be great together. And I'm going to dress her, and she's going to be beautiful. And you're going to be exceedingly appreciative when this all plays out that way.
It wouldn't be the first time. I used to teach nerds how to kiss.
Yeah, see? There you go. A charity function. So most of all, this mother knows that we must engage to prevail and to be pleasing and to be loving. Our pursuit of both should be continuous. It should be steadfast. Now, as we move forward, we have to recognize that ships bring bounty to the land. Whether they're filled with wonderful people returning home, as in those chariots that fly through the sky that bring the Yehudim and the Israelites and the Goyim into Yisrael in advance of our return to Eden, or they're filled with the best foods, textiles, jewels, libraries of important books to read, and other treasures the world has to offer. And of course, ships are the medium of trade.
They are.
So acknowledging that Amma would bring her Baal as a gift to Yisrael, even to Dowd, and that's recognizing that I was a merchant trader by career. That's how I earned the living that has enabled me to do this job 24, not 24/7, but 12 to 14, sometimes 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, without any distraction, as I was a merchant trader, and I was really good at it.
Yes, you were good at your job.
My living as a result of it. And there's other places where in Numbers we're going through the list of the people that would go into the promised land, and the last one there is the name of the fellow that actually protected and saved Dowd in the end, and he is described as a salesman. That's what I was. I was a really, really good one. And as a merchant trader, I had factories around the world and thousands and thousands and thousands of containers filled with goods and factories everywhere, and was really good at this particular craft. So this is a hint to all of that. And not only have we, Leah, both and I, been around the world. I've been in over 150 countries, probably upwards of 170, and Leah has probably been in 50 foreign countries around the world. So we've been in well over 200 between the two of us, and we will bring all of what we have experienced and learned to our son, further enabling his sovereignty, because I think it's only when you have a view of the world as it actually is, and of course it'll be different as we move into the millennial Shabbat, but it is put you in a position to guide. You know, I was in the Soviet Union and in Red China back in the fact that they were both hardcore communists. And I know I've been throughout the Iron Curtain when it was hardcore communists. I know why big government doesn't work. I know why communism and socialism fail. I know why God prefers free enterprise with a correctional mechanism through the Yobel. So these things are helpful to know. We're going to be working during the millennial Shabbat. That's what God's looking for. And so these kinds of things are important, and you're stressing them here. So it reads, this is the 14th statement. She exists like, she is like a fleet of Yah ships. She's akin to one that Yah allows you to meet, who is receptive. Is from Anna and Yah. She is one who is receptive to Yah, like a fleet of ships. A merchant who travels about, a shakar, a world traveler and a businesswoman throughout distant places, throughout faraway countries. She harvests and then arrives bringing her loaves of bread, but also her battles. That's what lakam means, both sides. Proverb 31:14.
Wow.
So what she is saying here is that the right woman's like a fleet of ships. She's going to bring a lot to this relationship. Her hold is going to be full. She is a na, Yah. She is receptive to Yahweh and therefore responsive. And it is by seeing the world, my wife and I have done to an extraordinary extent. I mean, beyond most anyone who's ever lived.
We even spent a year on a ship.
Yeah,
together.
In fact, we did. We came here on a ship of Yah. In fact, that ship was called Kara, which you can't be any more properly named for this. We spent.
It's all a little surreal.
We
isn't
spent
it?
2 years on Kara, but we came here on a ship of Yah, and to live for the ship of Yah for a full year, and loved it, and only gave it up because there wasn't the time for it. After a while, we just realized this is so important. Yah was expecting a lot. Let's stick to it. Let's give it everything we have, so that when we have completed this job for Yah, He's pleased. So that I don't want to see Yah for the first time, and after all that we have done and all He's had to communicate and
we pretty much knew we had to give up the retirement.
Yeah, I don't want to say, if you'd only not stopped playing golf or flying your airplane or loving the boat, maybe we'd have been more successful together. No, we sold it all. We gave. Yeah. This is all we do. As Rich will
that's it. That's all.
Being here, and Rich enables a lot of this, but it's all we do. So with the right woman, she is like a fleet of ships, and she is responsive to Yah. And by seeing the world, we bring a lot to the table. There are not many people that can speak to you in this role who've had those kinds of experiences. And it is through these perspectives that we come to know our place. We come to know ourselves better. Even more to the point, the Amma would soon bring her Baal to Dowd. I'd be the next one to visit him. And as the Nakar, he is the observant foreigner that Yahweh has promised long ago. So,
and wouldn't that be true? Because my voice doesn't carry a lot of authority. I don't project authority. I never will. It's not my nature. But even when the staff, when I talk to them and they don't do what I ask them to do, what do? I come and get you and tell you to talk to them. Do I not?
Yeah. It's I mean, that's part of the process too. You can have a nurturing spirit, and you can have a commanding spirit. Both have merit. And if you had two commanding spirits, the relationship is going to go around in circles, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And if you had two nurturing spirits, you're never going to get
anywhere.
Never going to throw the lines and heave ho and go off to sea, are you?
No.
So she's speaking of both having merit. So also, when you think about the sailing ships of the day, they were driven by what?
Wind.
Wind. What's the Hebrew word for wind?
Ruach.
Ruach, spirit. So she is suggesting two things. First, she and I are being delivered by the Ruach. No matter where we show up in time and history and what we do, we're being delivered by the Ruach and dropped off before important people at crucial places and times. And on Towrah, Yahweh will be bringing the mortal remnant of Yisrael, as well as select Goyim, into the city of Dowd by way of spiritual conveyance. It's the Ruach that are driving those machines, and from all around the world to prepare for Dowd's return. So she says, there's going to be some really fancy apparati that are going to bring your family to you, and they're going to be driven by the spirit, just as you have sails that are blown by the wind. So also, so many layers of understanding here. I love the depth of it.
Craig, Leah, gentlemen, I think it's important to bring up the point that the proper term, Baal, in the Hebraic term, Yah meant it, is husband, and how Hasatan has basically perverted it, so that we're all kind of, when you hear the word, I automatically begin to think a moniker for Hasatan and Canaanite gods and et cetera, et cetera. I think it's important just how we have to unravel that, because it's significant.
Yeah, the Baal means husband. It also means Lord and Master. And what Leah has brought to our relationship is a bit of a submissive nature, in which she is trying to impose also and impress upon Dowd that, he's king. He's Lord and Master of his castle. If there ever was a Lord and Master, he is Lord and Master of the world. He's king of the universe. And so he needs a woman who is going to support him and not try to be the Lord and Master. I don't have any problem with women being assertive and achieving great things. But in the role of a Nakar,
somebody's got to wear the pants, baby.
Yeah, the role of Nakar, you can't be competing with him.
No.
And when the role of king of the universe, you can't be competing with him. You got to be supportive to make it work. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted that beautiful song to be played. She presents herself as queen of the castle. Well, in Cat, there's a king, and he is the Lord and Master of that kingdom.
There's only one king of my castle.
Yeah, and
that's
right.
my husband.
And so this is
now there may be a king of the realm out there, but he's the king of my castle.
So I had never previously been able to view Baal as husband, Lord, and Master of his realm as a term that I could associate positively, just like
until now.
My favorite word, Asher, is purloined by Satan to turn into Asherah and to be a mother goddess and the queen of heaven. And so what Satan does is he goes off and he corrupts and he steals really important things that are important symbols of Yah.
Crucial to understanding.
Yeah, and in this case, Ashar, which he corrupted to Asherah, and Baal, which he emphasized Lord and Master, but not in Lord and Master in a loving husband and wife relationship.
In a cruel way.
In a cruel way. So
bingo,
yeah.
Yep.
This is why those words actually work. But boy, you really have to grow a long time with Yah before you come to the point where you can say, I get it. So
you have to be mature.
Also, as we continue to analyze this, Leah will be part of the Shabuah harvest. Then she's going to return in support of her son, our king, and her loaves of bread speak. That was Lakam, and in that last statement speak of that ingathering, and it said loaves plural because of the promise of 7 is symbolically presented as inclusive by way of the 2 loaves. And this is one of the most important things that you're here to do now, is to cultivate the covenant family for Shabuah and those 2 loaves. And Lakam, though, by the way, is also equally comfortable being rendered battles. And you will be battle hardened. We know that the Amma will have fought and won more than her share in defense of her people and in defense of her reputation and role.
We are being prepared for the real ones with teeth, and that would be Yahuwd.
Yeah.
God wants us when you say that. Dowd was born in Bethlehem.
Yes, he was.
Literally, house of bread, house of, like we're saying now, battle.
Yes. And he was battle hardened. He fought in 66 defensive battles with Yahweh. And Yahweh never said, boy, you know, I got a problem with you. It's you fought too many battles. We're not going forward. No, he fighting, defending your people is a noble thing to do. And for the person that says, but he says, you know, he couldn't build the house because he had blood on his hands. Think it through. Why did he mention that you have blood on your hands and you're not building this house? Why? Well, because he was going to have blood on his hands. It's going to be mine, and it's going to be Elias. And his job is to sprinkle on the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant, because he's returning on Kippurim. And he wants everyone to have an appreciation for that is the reality of all of this. And he's going to be able to build the final house for Yahweh's name, not one that gets torn down. God's not going to have his son build one that gets ransacked. He's going to have his son build one that gets to last forever. And it's gorgeous, made out of light. And he's going to then have blood on his hands when he anoints the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant. These are the things that people just heretofore have not processed.
What happened to the house that Shlomo built?
It was destroyed.
Yes.
Yeah. And so...
And was that not Bathsheba's son?
Yeah, but you know, at that moment, it was glorious. At that moment, it was really glorious. So, and at that moment, Shlomo was glorious. Shlomo really started. At that moment. He started off beautifully.
Yes.
He was exceedingly articulate, very wise, prophetic. He started off well.
But he did not learn the mistake of his father.
No, he did not. That ultimately ate him up alive. So. As we go forward, the next line is pure Leah, and I understand, Will. You know, if we go typically a little over 2 hours on this, and you know, if we're going longer than you want to, you're free man. You're welcome to leave. If you want to stay with us, you're welcome to stay with us. I'm really glad to have you here. We want you to be part of this more often. But this next line, as I've said, I think is pure Leah. She is a night owl. We have many things that are different, which is what makes us work together. I'm a morning person. I have never found a morning that I didn't like. I am never up after the sun. I'm always up and going before the sun.
It's so annoying.
But boy, that sun goes down, and you know, after a while, I'm off, and I'm
no, it's worse than that. His head hits the pillow, and within 5 to 15 minutes, he's out.
I am. I can fall asleep. And,
how does that even happen?
I'm restful at night, and I recharge.
Yes,
and there are some accommodations for being older, and one of the accommodations are you go to bed a little earlier and you get a little more sleep. Otherwise, your mind becomes clouded. And right now, I need to use my mind. It's got to be fresh. And so I get my sleep, and I go to bed reasonably early, and I wake up refreshed, and it's always way before the sun rises. So Leah, however, is a night owl. She works on promoting all things associated with Yada Yahowah and the Yahweh blog. Almost all of the look and feel. You know, you look at a cover like this. This is there we go. This is Leah. This is what she does. That song that she wrote, that's Leah. This is her cover here. As we do Messiah. This is her presentation of her son, Dowd. So it really is a marvelous thing. Here's one of my favorites. What a beautiful cover with all the symbolism of the moon and the campfire and us camping out together. This is what Leah does. Look at when we present for observations the covenant. I'm trying to make certain I don't get it over your picture there. But look how beautiful this is. This is Leah. In fact, when we first moved to rebrand all the books, the first thing we did is she says, I want a consistent look. And I said, great, I want a consistent look too. The look I have always gone for has been picture caption, title, picture caption. And I always have used white backgrounds. And I think that gold is the best accent. We'll add a little blue, maybe a little red, but gold, blue, and white. That is the theme we're going to go with. Let's find a font. She found the font that is now the Yada font, as Joe has designed it. Of course, we went from the Lion of Judah to Yahweh said, no, I want the menorah to be the sign. That is my sign for my people. You're going to use the menorah going forward. And so, look at how beautiful this cover is. I mean, isn't that gorgeous? So this is, Leah's contribution, and it permeates everything that we do. So she's up almost all night. I'm the early riser, always getting up before the sun. So in addition, I suppose it bears mentioning that Leah is actually a gourmet chef that's going to come up here. She has trained in Italy and France. I am the product of that. I resemble that statement. When I met Leah, I was 35 pounds lighter than I am now. Leah says food is love, and she's really good at it. So
it's a Jewish thing. Food is love.
Yeah.
That is how you show someone you love them.
Yeah,
feed them until they
and
pop.
she is really, really good at it. So there you go. What are we going to do? You've been here, Kirk. You know.
Yeah.
Rich is here too.
True.
Yeah, it's all true. So she tends her own vegetable garden, which is what this says. She plucks the ingredients out of her vegetable garden daily as she prepares our meals right out of the ground. So this is quite explicit in terms of our relationship. She consistently rises and gets up while it is yet night. She and Dowd is an early riser like me. She provides offering that which is freshly picked and nourishing for her family, and as a share properly thought out and apportioned for her girls, for her female attendants and young ladies. Yeah, you're going to have lots of daughters, and you're going to be helping them, preparing them for roles that they're going to have. And she's saying, Yahweh has never deprived you, Dowd, of anything that you wanted. And so, if one wife is good for you, but you guys decide that you want to expand your horizon some, I'm going to raise some really high quality, wonderful women, and they're going to be Torah observant and
Ladies in waiting.
But these are ladies in waiting who are up to the challenge of talking Torah with you. And you better be on your game, because I'm going to teach them Torah. They're going to have the answer. So you're not going to pull over any fast one on them. I'm going to make certain that these women that I'm nurturing, that they know their Torah, and they know Yahweh, and they know exactly what life is all about.
They will be like my friend Ruth.
They will be exactly like your friend Ruth. They will indeed. And Ruth was a marvelous, marvelous woman. So Leah is continuing to emphasize, I think, the importance of contributing to the relationship. The queen of the castle, as we just heard her song, must lead by example, consistently making the investment in the well-being of her husband, home, and her family. And it's important for the husband and for the family to reciprocate. So chief among her contributions is to be nourishing, feeding her family the latest fruit from the tree of knowledge. She must value the Torah as much as she does her husband and constantly cultivate nuggets from God's guidance. Just because there is a sensual undertone here, a romantic undertone, God's going to say explicitly, she's going to say explicitly that it's primarily a love of the Torah that prepares her for this, and that she is exceedingly chokmah, bright. So this is the ideal situation, bright and beautiful, brilliant and loving. So she is loving the Torah as much as she does her husband. She's going to cultivate both. And in this case, she's feeding the entire covenant family much of what we have learned working together over these years. Now, as I've mentioned, this is personal with Leah, because second only to studying Torah, she does love her garden, and she grows much of what we eat. And the implications are that she's is keen on many, she's buys into and understands many of the horticultural metaphors, which therefore permeate Yah's testimony, because she's been there, she's done that. She's been a shepherdess. She has tended a garden. She's knows what it's like to have an orchard and a vineyard.
I even tried to grow wheat one year. Oh, it was so hard.
Yeah, yes. You don't have to do it all to succeed.
No, I just wanted to know what it was like. It was really hard to grow wheat. Yeah.
What comes next should be unexpected, or would be certainly unexpected, if not from Leah. Recognizing the proclivity, I should say, of the men in Yahweh's story to have other intimate partners, she routinely states that she is okay with that so long as she gets to vet them, and someone else is, everyone, I should say, is treated appropriately and respectfully. So in this case, she is apportioning her girls as is appropriate. And once we are surrounded by women assisting within the covenant who had a conniption fit, we were once with a group, and they did have a conniption fit at any mention of sensuality, even if the inspiration came directly from Yahweh's testimony. Therefore, I'm aware that there are some women, even potentially men, who are bothered by the slightest sexual innuendo. But they would not be Yahweh, and they would not be the men that Yahweh chooses to work with him, nor the women who engage and work for them. They know that Yahweh designed this to be wonderful and to be happy and to be pleasurable, and to kind of help us understand the kind of love that he is manifest towards us, and how it leads to being productive and mutually supportive. But when he created Towrah for Adam, his first comment was "Yowza." I mean, I get it. This is really good.
Here's some pure logic. If sex is so bad, then why the orgasm?
Yeah. Well,
come on.
When it's right, it is pleasurable all the way to your toes. So, I cannot go where the words lead when they speak to it and be true to my calling or Yahweh's inspiration if I don't do this. So I'm going to do it. And he conceived the method that we conceive children. And that design was pretty explicit, the way that it works, and quite pleasurable in the sensuality of it, and the demonstrability of a loving relationship that can be really quite pleasurable, but also quite vulnerable. Where trust and mutual respect are essential for it to be right. And this is to suggest that sexuality will continue to be part of loving relationships and the conception of children over the next 1,000 years. I don't think God's going to, well, that was really great, but we're going to create kids that have no relationship to you, and you're not going to have any involvement in it. No, it's not going to be that way. So I rather like this next statement because it means that women, not just men, will have a share of the land and they will have a significant say in how it's developed. Further, she will continue to be productive, harvesting the fruit that is cultivated with her hands. It reads, she has considerations and plans, zamam, for the land, and she acquires it out of the fruit of her hands. She plants and, with the help of her man, firmly entrenches a vineyard and an orchard. Of course, the vineyard and the orchard, the olives and the grapes serve as the wine and the olive oil of God's story. So God's very clear. He and Dowd planted a garden right on Zion, right on Moriah.
And she's very clear. She knows exactly what's there.
Yeah. So, Dowd, that you planted a garden with Yahowah. You know the importance of it. And if you're in a loving relationship, you and your wife are going to tend to that
garden,
vineyard, that orchard. And, we're still going to get in that wine vat. We're going to pick those, the grapes off the vine. We're going to make wine together, and we're going to make olive oil.
Crush olives.
We're going to have all of the benefits of olive oil, and
beat them up and crush them.
we're gonna crush them and the whole like, and so women are going to have designs on the land, and they are going to own land, and they're going to take control of it, and they're going to acquire it because, out of the fruit of their hands, because they were productive, because they engaged, they were willing to make a contribution. It's not an entitlement. No. It's not because you married
Yahuwah
royalty.
Does not give entitlements.
It's because you earned it.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can take pleasure and pride and satisfaction of it. You earned it. So it is as it should be. A good wife should not only dress the vineyard and tend the orchard, it should be done together with a man and a woman contributing to the bounty that can be derived through cooperation. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Leah will be designing tomorrow's wardrobe, as we're going to read as we press on. Those being allowed back into the garden will be wearing fabrics and styles that she will have cultivated. And while you may wonder why this was sufficiently important to convey, it is because we will all engage making contributions according to our experience and our aptitude. And while there are still mortals among us, outward appearances are going to matter. Further, God's Amma is telling their rather indulgent son that if he focuses on his job, he won't be deprived of anything else that is rewarding. The fact remains that with the right woman, one is satisfying. One will be as satisfying as 18. In fact, a whole lot less supportive and less distracting and debilitating. The other aspect of this is that Leah has long enjoyed picking and adorning Dowd's bride. You see so many images that she has created where she is helping to cultivate and curate
a bride,
curate a bride for her king. She's been doing that now for years. And
I come from a long line of matchmakers. Like, come on.
So that's so she's already well engaged in this, and she has only complained that the 10 days from Towrah to Kippurim,
not enough time
to plan a wedding, but
no.
that's what you get, sweetheart. And so
I hope we have a lot of help.
I know this is a wedding of significant magnitude, but we're going to have lots of help. So, although I'm going to be a little distracted at the time. So not only does
be a little busy
at the time. So not only does Leah adorn herself elegantly and have a slender waist, and her confidence is derived by her association with Baos. with her strong and powerful man. When God says, go ask Ruth, Ruth is not only the Amma, saying that twice, but she is delivering the kinsman redeemer to Baoz. Baoz isn't just a term in passing or a name that should be forgotten. He is the north column, the left-hand column of the home for Yahweh's name, the temple. And he stands beside Dowd as the other column for that temple.
Right on the porch.
And that column's name is Boaz for this reason. That is Ruth's husband as she delivers the kinsman redeemers. Why Yahweh said, go ask Ruth. So this reads, she drapes and wraps apparel, dressing and girding her slender waist, her loins and body, confidently, boldly, in an empowering and capable fashion, oaths mightily, with uncommon ability, often using natural fibers, including wool. She is determined and persistent, always courageous, in establishing and enabling the strength and status, the success, wa'ametz. She is forceful and relentless in promoting and reinforcing the determination of her Zeroah. And it's plural.
Yeah.
Strong arm cultivating a productive harvest, whom she married, and also the sacrificial lamb who she adopted as her son. She is the woman with the Zeroah. She's got her hands full. Can you imagine being put in a position to say, all right, you're the mother of the sacrificial lamb of Dowd, and you're the wife of the guy that's cultivating this harvest, who is really strong and forceful. Good luck, sweetheart. You know, there's a reason why I'm giving you a lot of credit here. That was a lot to pull off.
Apparently so.
So she is strengthening, enabling the success of her Zeroah, of both the Zeroah, scattering the seeds such that they take root and grow, while also becoming fruitful by shouldering the burden on behalf of their sacrificial lamb. That is from Zara, of course, which means to scatter and sow seeds, which yield a productive crop. So the actionable root, Zerah, describes her husband, while the way that Zeroah is used in the Torah, which is the sacrificial lamb of Passover, describes her son. Boy, do we learn a lot from Zeroah. Okay, so now, folks, it's getting a little personal. And by the way, a little personal, by the time we're on the 17th statement, by the time we get to 30, it's going to go, could you tone it down a little? We get it already. But it's just ramps
It's going to get a little steamy.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really personal. So, okay, we have certainly passed that threshold now. This wife is being attired, even girded, to confidently and boldly stand beside her man. And she's got two of them. And neither of these souls are ordinary because, well, she's standing beside, there's only three, by the way, three Zeroah. And she's
sandwiched between a bull and a lion.
And standing on top of the Torah of Moshe, who's the third Zeroah. So let's not forget Moshe. So you're standing on the Torah of Moshe, the first Zeroah, while standing between a lion and a bull, and Dowd and Yada. That's going to take some confidence.
No pressure.
No pressure there.
No pressure. Not at all.
No. I am so glad that Yahweh decided to elevate her position, and that I can be Mr. Leah.
No.
I decided about 4 or 5 months ago that I'm going to become an introvert again. I was born an introvert.
No. I get to be an introvert. No.
I forced myself into being an extrovert. It turned out perfect for this job. But I'm going back to being an introvert. And now Leah, who was born an introvert, is going to get to be the extrovert. I'm loving the way this is working out. And since, she is addressing Dowd, Leah is this speech, she is assuming that the king will indeed serve as the Zeroah, sacrificial lamb of Passover. But she will have chosen and adorned his bride as well to stand beside him on his Kippurim return, all in harmony with the depiction that is presented in Numbers 5. You are the seamstress for that successful match, the dating game. Once upon a time, long time ago, I actually was on that show. But
the dating game?
The dating game.
For real?
For real.
Oh, I gotta look
is
this
there a
up.
video of
Somebody
that?
dig that up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Somebody find me a clip.
Somebody's got to get a copy of that.
Yeah, I was a very, very, very young man.
Let me
Yeah.
guess, Burbank Studio.
Yeah, I was dating a girl at the time. I wonder why she set me up for the dating game, and then she ended up dating the quarterback of the football team. She was very, very pretty, and you know, I was way too old for my age. Back in, I mean, not
An old soul.
not in terms of dating, but I was a really old soul, and so I was not good at the.
I was not either.
At the dating game thing. I mean, I did prevail in the game, but I was not good at that. That was not something I was good at, because my sights were always so much. There's something I always knew that I was here to accomplish, and that it was going to be very significant, and that I was way too old to relate effectively to people my own age. So yeah, I did. It's a true story. But okay, now we're realizing that now Leah is married to the Zeroah, the strong arm cultivating the harvest, and he is the one who will be making the sacrifice that purges Dowd's bride, along with the remnant of Yisrael, so that they are prepared for the king's arrival. This family reunion and this royal wedding, all something that she will be coordinating. So let's be clear, since Yahweh has made this obvious, there is only one woman over the past 6,000 years who could serve as an mother to Dowd, while recognizing him as the Zeroah, while also being the wife of the final Zeroah. She was not only told to go ask Ruth, who then acknowledged that she was the Amma, productive mother, responsible for delivering the Gaal, kinsman redeemer, to her husband, Boaz. She is Leah, the woman prophetically proclaimed to be Ashar, the blessed and beneficial woman. It is as obvious that she is the one as if we were to take 1 to the 7th power. Now, 1 to the 7th power, for all you math mavens out there, you'll still know is just 1. But it's 1 to the 7th power from Yahweh's perspective. A single person, but with 7 confirmations. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge that Leah is often seen draping elegant garments around her slender waist. She is as beautiful as she is fashionable. After all, she is a gift from God, and Yahweh is to be credited with designing and selecting her. So it is no doubt why she has exquisite taste and great judgment, and why these things are becoming legendary, and why I also know that she can be charmingly discreet. Her exquisite taste, her discretion, her experience and good judgment affirm that indeed what she produces is taupe. It's good. It's pleasing. It's beautiful. It has a lovely appearance. It performs well and is of excellent quality and is enjoyable and desirable, while also feeling comfortable and looking attractive. Her lamp in flame, it's the one over my shoulder, is never quenched. It's never extinguished. And it burns bright all through the night. those darkest hours.
Mm.
Mashal 31:18.
Mm.
I'll share some commentary on this, and we'll conclude this and then play the song that does not have the video component to it.
No.
But it
Not yet.
it has the lyrics, which you'll see, and the music,
Mhm.
which is really an ode to this word picture. And we'll play it at the conclusion of this. So in a marriage of hearts and minds within the covenant family, we would naturally expect the king to be pleased in the company of an exceptionally beautiful and thoughtful woman. You know, if you're going to be king of the universe, I'm sorry, you're not going to marry an ugly girl.
No.
It's just
Why
not,
would you?
It's just not going to happen, right?
No.
And if you're going to serve as the final Zeroah and you're the big bull that has to finish this thing off for the king, God's not going to provide an ugly one for you. But the beauty is secondary to the brilliance. Dowd's wife that Leah gets to curate and dress and prepare for this wedding, and I get to purge of all of her religiosity, so she's all ready for Leah to teach. She's going to be brilliant. She's going to be beautiful, and she's going to be unbelievably elegantly attired. When she shows up to stand beside Dowd, it's going to blow your mind how beautiful this scene is going to be. And I'm not going to even notice it because my beautiful wife is going to be, and I get first dibs on her, folks. I've got dibs already. She's going to be right there beside me.
Mhm.
So this is going to be, I've said many times that Towrah to Kippurim and then into Sukkah is the greatest show on earth.
It is.
And it
It'll
is
be
going to
beautiful.
be magnificent. And we're all going to be basking in the light. So, standing beside Yahweh's menorah, the eternal flame of our God, we know that her brilliance, like Dowd's, will never be quenched. And in our case, this is particularly reassuring because it indicates that the light that we are presently reflecting on behalf of our King is going to continue to shine. Not only through these darkest hours, but right up to the final 7 years before his return and thereafter forevermore. I am not going to have to go back to the dating game. While it's personal, this may also suggest that Leah will continue to reflect Yahweh's light, further illuminating herself and my presence and remaining my guiding light. So as we press forward through the King's redemption, the double entendres are, well, they're really becoming impossible to deny. And while cloaked in the apparatus of a stylish seamstress, there is obviously more going on than simply perfecting fabric. And I'll read this and then we'll go to the last song. She reaches out her hands to the spindle, and she skillfully reaches out to the staff to please. And the palms of her hands seize, they grasp, and they hold the round spindle and the staff and stick. Mashal, word picture, Proverbs 31:19. So I can end this program and blush and say it's been a lovely presentation. We'll return to this spot when we resume on Monday with the next episode, and the last word picture. And I would love for us to end with the song, but before we do, gentlemen, first, Will, it is great to have you be part of this show. Thank you for volunteering to do that. We'll have you again. I love the way that our team was able to get you in this round, beautiful round picture that kind of fits just beautifully right there. It's just wonderful. Turned out great. And Kevin, I'm sure you were instrumental in making that happen. So thank you again. We literally could not do this without you. Kirk, you're just my best bud from such a long time, and it's just great to see your smile. I'm glad that you found the right meds to get you through the next 18 of these treatments, and we love having you here, Dr. Jeff. Love your insights, love your support, love you representing all that it is to be a Yahuwd. And JB, with all of the translations that you've done and all of the ground that we have covered together, as the younger voice among us, it's great to have you here. And Leah, you're, I know, uncomfortable in this, and you have every reason to be uncomfortable. You have every reason to be comfortable, and that this is Yahweh's doing, and he's going to make sure that it turns out as beautifully as he has articulated it. But I can assure you, and you already know, that going from anonymous to spectacle is that's tough sledding. That's it is a most difficult thing to do. It is not something that anyone would ever knowingly bring upon themselves. You have to be at the dunderhead level of today's influencers to think that being famous is a good thing.
No.
It is not, and particularly if you're a sincere person that cares deeply about the issues that you are proclaiming. It is much better to be anonymous and to be sharing the truth anonymously than it is to have to tell people, oh, by the way, I am that Zeroah. I am that Nakar. I am that Choder. And you are the Amma and the Ashar. But it's the way that God works. He wants accountability. He wants responsibility. He wants to show that it's possible. He wants the people that he has announced are conveying his words to stand up, be noticed, and to live by example. And it's important to convey this because there is this confusion today that to serve as an example means that you're a goody two-shoes, but you're not. That's not what God's looking for. I mean, Dowd's the ultimate exemplar for us. He did a lot of stuff that was really bad. He was imperfect. I'm in this role and I'm imperfect. God's not looking for perfect. In fact, not only isn't he looking for perfect, he would specifically say, if you were perfect, which of course we can't be, but if you were, he would have no interest in us.
Why would he?
We can't prove that we can be trusted. We can't accomplish anything. We can't grow. We can't learn. We can't make mistakes and benefit from them. And so what God's looking for is somebody to do the four things that he wanted of Adam: to be observant, to be thoughtful, to be responsive, and to be responsible. And those things require us making mistakes and learning from them, us stumbling and getting back up, us building character because that we have been singed and have benefited from it. So that's the example that we're setting. And that's an example I think that we can live with. So, lady and gentlemen, and Rich, you have to come out of hiding now for us to say good night. And
curtain call, Rich. Come on.
Yeah, shalom over there, Rich. There he is.
There he is.
Yep. Thank you so much for producing this. I know this was a challenge to bring more of us into the fore, but we're greatly appreciative. I thought it was a wonderful show that you produced, by the way, earlier today in our Ocean studio with all those marvelous looks. And it's just so real and so raw and so personal and so spectacular to be in that setting and the way that you're able to produce it was really wonderful today. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And this came off seamlessly, didn't it?
It's very seamlessly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear you explain the Baha Kaishur.
Okay. We have lots still to learn and grow from as we press our way through this material. So let's end with the
say Shabbat Shalom, darling.
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, and play our parting song, if you will.
Craig, we love it when you make a
longing for freedom and to live peacefully with her king. Chasing sunsets, romance.
Orphaned.
We're gonna look for the right song. It's
I got it. I got it.
Okay, there it is, right there. You're on it right now. The Orphan song. Do we need to stop the other one? Is still playing in the background?
I don't know what started.
Okay. I think that is the right song. Yes, the Orphan song there. It's up there and down, both places.
I see it right there.
And it's also above. There it is there too.
Sounds was queued up though.
Can you play it from where you are?
I'm playing it right now.
Okay.
Child of love thereafter. Thought it was over when it all turned to ash. Barren and broken, no songs in her anymore. Living in shadows where hope seemed to crash. From dust she rose through the Mizmowr's call in a song about a woman where the barren find peace. She keeps house for the knocker, attentive to all in his wisdom and light. She found her true place. Oh, the knocker watches and knows her every tear. Foreigner chosen, with eyes and lips ever clear. He lifts up the lowly, sets free the oppressed. The woman who loves him found life in his quest. From barren to dwelling, her heart complete. In the house of the knowing, where love and truth meet. She loved her bull of a man, strong, moral, and bold, who saved her life and soul from the ash and cold. Through valleys of sorrow, he saw her pain, washed in redemption. He broke every chain. The knocker, her keeper, astute, loving, and kind. Foreigner called son under infinite skies. He welcomed the woman, gave shelter and bread for the barren who trusted. New children are born. Oh, the knocker watches and knows her every tear. Foreigner chosen, with eyes and lips ever clear. He lifts up the lowly, sets free the oppressed. The woman who loves him found love in his quest. From barren to dwelling, her heart complete.
I'm going to go out on a limb here again, and I'm going to predict that the song you just heard will be played during the wedding on October 2nd, following the sunset, year 6000 Yav 2033. I think we're going to hear that song again. I also know that in this particular song, normally we have stunning visuals that go with it, and that it is Mariah and our beloved Matt with cats, that are creating the visuals for this song. And when they're done, we will play it again with those visuals. But I think this is a wedding song for our king. Anybody want to challenge that or want to recommend something else? What do you think?
I just think that the boss lady's going to choose a different song.
You do?
I think she's going to choose a different song. Yes.
Okay.
One not yet written. Honestly, yeah. Just if I was to bet on anything. But
Okay.
your vote does carry a lot of weight. So
I've got a pretty good line to both the master of ceremonies of the event, which will be Elia, to the host of the event, which is Yahowah, and to the king around which all of this is going to be played. And that's until something I hear that is more spectacular than that comes along, I'm going to recommend that that's part of the ensemble. I think it is. It speaks powerfully of
Why just one song? Why just one?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be more. Oh, goodness. Our king is a songwriter.
Oh, boy.
yeah.
King is a
Exactly.
songwriter after all.
Without the visuals, though, that was stirring. That was very stirring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the art.
And when
just
you
the
get
audio.
to, and I have seen the lyrics of the song. I have, in fact, I was thinking about putting the lyrics of the song in the chapter that we're concluding here in what will be Coming Home Volume 4. Because the lyrics are really beautiful in this song. It's not just the melody, it's not just the voice, it's not just the instrumentation and the scoring of it, but the lyrics are brilliant. So I'm going to vote for it. We'll see if I have any influence over the cast of characters that are going to be gathered there that evening. What do you think there, Kirk? Oh, we've lost Kirk in terms of the audio. And
I got it. There you go. Go ahead, Kirk.
I'm on your side, pal.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, that's so we've got 2 votes. I'm not sure that anything. We've got a king and a god, and so I'm not sure that we're going to be voting a lot with a king and a god. But everybody's going to be a good listener. Everybody's going to want a glorious event, and we're all going to be celebrating lyrics very much like these. And I think that one of the things that God realized with Dowd is that if you can say it with music, you're saying it best of all. Mm-hmm. Then you're melding the teaching with something that doesn't just stimulate the mind, but also reaches out to the heart. And that with this blend of lyrics and music, you also create something that becomes more memorable, easier transfer into the long-term memory so that we can recall it and use it. So this is going to be a very special day and a special part of what occurs that beautiful evening. Yom Kippurim, the Day of Reconciliations, the great family reunion and wedding. Sunset October 2nd, 2033, year 6000 Yah. So between now and then, Shabbat Shalom. I look forward to being with you again. This was a very, very enjoyable, special, insightful, loving family hour as we continued to present the last word picture, the final mashal.
Night, y'all. Night, Will.
Yeah, everyone. Thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom.